Hello, and welcome back to 321 Philosophy is Fun. I'm Dana, your host, coming to you for the last time today in this series, and we're going to be talking about how everything is a sandwich. Rather, everything is a remix, but sandwiches are the ultimate remix, so my point stands either way. Today, we'll be going over a short video series called Everything is a Remix that talks about how creativity doesn't happen in isolation, but rather it's a combination of pre-existing things that are sort of combined together to create a new thing. Without further ado, let's make a sandwich. Bread exists on its own. Chicken exists on its own, and lettuce, spinach, and all the rest of the good green stuff exists on its own. However, you throw them together and you create an entirely new thing, which is the sandwich. This concept ties in excellently with the idea of there being those three main building blocks: copying, transforming, and combining to make something new. The first thing is copying, and that's just essentially doing the same thing that somebody else has done before you. A bread maker follows the recipe exactly and makes a loaf of bread just like the recipe says. Similarly, I'm a salad maker. I take lettuce, cucumbers, and spinach, and I follow the recipe and I make a delicious salad. And then I'm a chicken farmer, and I grow chickens and I cook them, and it's exactly how it's always done, and it's delicious. I'm copying what's been done before me. But then we have, over the course of time, a sort of gradual transformation. Your bread baker takes his loaf and looks at it and says, wow, this would be really delicious if I threw some cheese and herbs on top of it. And then you have your chicken cooker who looks at his chicken and thinks, wow, this is really good, but if I smother it in teriyaki sauce, it's going to be even more fantastic. But you throw a little bit of this in there and a little bit of that, and it's this gradual transformation, but it's still chicken. But then comes along some hotshot, out-of-the-box thinker who's probably actually just lazy, and he thinks to himself, man, I really love this chicken dinner with my chicken and my bread and my salad, but I do not want to be having to take 3 separate bites to get all of this deliciousness inside of me. Why don't I just combine it? He takes his bread, his delicious chicken meal, puts that chicken on there, spreads the lettuce, spinach, and the rest of this delicious salad, closes it up, and we have a sandwich. A brand new creation, a meal in and of itself. That is the whole premise behind everything being a remix, that we take things and we combine them after a long process of transformation within the individual things, and we have a new product. All this talk of transformations that have happened in the past and how this will continue to happen in the future leaves me with a couple of questions. First of all, is this kind of remixing creativity an inexhaustible source of new ideas? Or at some point, are we going to run out of new ways to mix and match things to come up with new stuff? Secondly, we can look at history and see the progression of advancement and innovation. Sometimes the same invention or idea happens completely distinctly of each other, and the invention of calculus, electricity, all of these things are attributed to one person now, but when you look back at history, you see that multiple people are actually processing through these things at the same time. Does this point to the sort of inevitability of this technological advancement, that some things are so obvious that humans are just bound to discover them where they are? Or does it point to a sort of preordained series of technological advancements that you could even ask, was this supposed to happen? Last but not least, we now have the actionable takeaway for today. Take something that you really admire and think of different ways that you can combine it with something else, maybe something that you would never expect, in a way that will enhance that initial thing. For example, take this cooking show. I knew that I always wanted to have my own fake cooking show, and even though philosophy and cooking really have nothing to do with each other, I combined the two to create this new thing. I actually don't know if it's new, I haven't even looked it up. Maybe there's other philosophy-themed cooking shows, but for me, it's working out in that this is a new thing that I'm putting out into the world from 2 separate things that really have nothing to do with each other. So, what 2 things, or more things, can you mix together, cut and paste a little bit to create a new thing? And is that even a new thing if it's just a bunch of pieces mixed together? That's for you to think about, and get back to me if you have any ideas. That's about all for now. Thanks so much for tuning in again, and happy remixing!